every single day, and that's where the spotlight should have been on. Not me, all these guys, because I would not be here without them.
That is the transgender boy in Texas who has now become a national story. He was a girl transitioning to a boy, and the state of Texas refused him and forced him to wrestle women. Jim Ryan's been following this story in Dallas. Good morning, ABC News correspondent Jim Ryan.
Good morning, McGraw. Yeah, it gets a little complicated when you start dealing with pronouns. We're talking about Mac Beggs, who was born a girl, in 2015 began taking testosterone to become a boy. And then she already, as a girl, was an accomplished wrestler. There is girls wrestling here in Texas. It goes all the way to the state level. But was told that as this transition was going on by state regulators of high school athletics that he'd still have to wrestle against girls, and now has won in the 110-pound girls class. And so that's where the controversy stands. Lawsuits have been filed by the parents of some opponents who say that this wasn't fair, that they want him stripped of this wrestling title and forbidden from wrestling girls next year. And by the way, Mac Beggs says that's fine, that he'd rather be wrestling against boys anyway.
Yeah, no, I mean, you can't blame the kid. The kid wanted to wrestle the boys, and the state wouldn't let him.
Yeah, so and I think that, in effect, he'd rather see these lawsuits that are being filed successful. Lawsuits against the University Interscholastic League filed by some of the opponents who forfeited. I think he'd rather see this go through and be successful so that, yes, he can be told that he can wrestle against boys. In fact, maybe forced to wrestle against boys.
Has anybody brought up the fact that there are people who are upset that he should wrestle with the boys, but there are also people who say he should go to the bathroom with the girls?
Yeah, they haven't even broached that subject yet. It may be something that Mac Beggs is dealing with in his private life, but they haven't said anything yet about the bathrooms. This all is happening at Trinity High School, large high school right in the middle of Dallas-Fort Worth, and the bathroom debate is still raging here in Texas.
He's taking testosterone to transition into a boy, which many people say is putting him at the unfair advantage of then wrestling against the girls.
Exactly. Steroids are one thing that is prohibited by the state regulators here. Testosterone would be considered that, but he's taking the absolute minimum dose that a doctor can recommend as this transition process in order to compete more fairly, and yet still is winning fairly decisive matches.
How good of a wrestler was she before the transition?
Well, very good, yeah, and in fact, that's what Mac Beggs is pointing out here, that even before the testosterone treatments had begun, he was easily defeating girls in his same weight class, and says that he feels that he with or without testosterone, would have continued that all the way to state. And
so how big of a story is this, Jim, down in Texas? Is the governor commenting on this, or any state legislators commenting on this?
Hasn't yet, but I suspect it's something that will be commented on. I mean, they're constantly discussing the bathroom bill and discussing transgender issues and whatnot. I mean, the lieutenant governor really is the one who is pushing that side of the whole thing, the transgender bathroom issues. So watch the Twitter feed for the lieutenant governor to see if something comes out about that.
Just so we understand, this Max Beggs is the champion in the 110 weight class for women only because the state forced him to wrestle with the women and not with the boys.
Correct, yes. I think if it had been Mac Beggs' choice, he would have been wrestling with boys, either winning or losing. I think that's where Mac Beggs would have felt more comfortable.
Jim Ryan, unbelievable story. Thanks for checking in, Jim.
See you, McGraw.
ABC News correspondent from Dallas, Jim Ryan. So they want him to wrestle with the boys, but they want him to go to the bathroom with the girls, which is my argument the whole time with the whole bathroom thing, right? You're forcing people to go to the bathroom who look like the opposite gender, right? So because you don't want to go to the bathroom with somebody who has different parts, you're going to force people to go to the bathroom next to people who look different. So you're a girl, and you're going to force people to go next to a person who looks like a guy, as opposed to who looks like a girl. And if you're a guy, they're forcing you to go to the bathroom next to somebody who looks exactly like a girl, which is, quite frankly, in my humble opinion, more confusing. But what do I know? How's that for a story down in Dallas? All right, next hour. Aaron Katursky is following this weekend tweet with Donald Trump that has, sent the Earth Office Axis, claiming that former President Obama, while in office, either he himself or he directed somebody to wiretap Trump Tower. Now, the argument here is that the president doesn't have the authority to do it on his own, and if that is true, that Donald Trump has seen evidence of the federal government wiretapping Trump Tower, the only way to do it would be if a federal judge saw some evidence in which something illegal was going on and was given some type of FISA warrant to then legally tap Trump Tower, which brings in a whole bunch of questions. However, James Comey was on Meet the Press yesterday, and while he was, James Clapper, said that while he was in office through the Obama administration, he never saw anything like that, and he would have seen it. So there's a whole lot of consternation going on with all of this. Aaron Katursky is going to break it down for us right after top of the hour news at 7:05. Check that, 6:57. Big 550.